while listening to these podcasts and videos from marriage counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, lawyers who've dealt with divorces and prenups and all that, the only thing I continually see is that I handled everything with my ex wife correctly. I continually see them talk about communication and agreeing what your roles are before you get married. As far as, okay, you will do this and I will do that. You know, you talk about sex, you talk about everything. And there's not been a single thing in the last 3 years that I've heard where I said, oh, I did not do that or I did not think of that. I was so prepared for marriage and so open with communication and communicated so well and so clearly that there's nothing I can see that I could have improved on in any way. And this goes to show you that if you get involved with the wrong person, there's simply no way to make it work out. If that person's goal is to destroy and sabotage, it's going to happen. If you're out on the road and you get in an accident, you could look at it and say, wow, there's no way to avoid that accident. There's just no way. And some people say there's always ways to avoid it. No, there isn't. If your car is parked and you're in your parking lot and you get hit because someone aimed for your car, sped up and hit you, well, what would make it any different if you're on the road and someone behind you, not paying attention, speeds up and boom, slams into you, right? It's the same thing. You could do everything right, but if someone targets you, they're going to get you. You're not going to be able to make it. You're just not. And it is like that with some marriages. When you get involved with the narcissist and the only thing they want to do is destroy, well, you could go ahead and invest in that relationship and put all the good and kindness in it you want. But that goodness and kindness is an investment in that person on how they're going to respond and invest into it. So if that's not even on the table, there's simply nothing you can do about it. But I'll tell you this, I'll very likely never find anyone again. I probably won't be in a relationship again. Um, but I'm not going to say that relationships can't work out and that all women are like that or anything. It's not like that at all. I'm just at an age where I need to protect myself and I can't take the risk. I can't take the risk anymore. This is the third time in my life I've had to start from scratch. And it's all because I chose to marry someone, and marriage is, hey, me as a man and you as a woman, there's no benefit in this for me. I'm putting everything at risk and on the line to marry you just to show you I trust you that much. And you get all of these benefits, and I get nothing but risk. That's what marriage is. It's a man going out of his way to show that woman that he's making a commitment of trust and putting himself in a vulnerable place where she can destroy him at any moment, and that he trusts her that much that she's not going to do it out of, well, trust. I was going to say love, but it's out of trust. But yeah, be careful, man. And it goes the same for women, of course. For me being a man, I almost only see narcissistic women, and for women, they only see narcissistic men because men target women, and narcissistic men target women. Narcissistic women tend to target men. Unless you're going to be on the workplace or neighbors or something like that, family wise, you're just not going to see men target men online or women target women much online. It's just, at least I've not noticed it much at all. But yeah, I'm glad I did everything right. I'm glad I did everything correct. because the more I learn and the more I hear this stuff, the more it's like, wow, that I mean, I really did do things exceptionally well. And I mean, even though I was told this already during my marriage by marriage counselors and psychologists and the world leading expert on narcissistic relationships that I was doing everything right and everything was on her, I still need that comfort. I still need that um, confirmation that I did everything I possibly could. Is that funny? I don't know why that is. But I'll tell you this, if I were to get in a relationship today, I wouldn't change anything about who I am or how I treat a woman. I mean, everything I did with my ex wife was just perfect and really on a level that was so healthy, so healthy. But the only thing I would have that would be different is my caution and my anxiety. I knew a woman, it was a sheriff, a former sheriff, and his wife. And his wife had gotten in an accident and had a brain injury. And she constantly broke the windows and stuff like that, or the mirrors and everything, and would shit all over the bathrooms at the airport and undo the toilet paper and always call and complain on us because something happened to her in that accident, you know. And this man was a simp and always going after us too. And one day it got really bad. I had to call the cops because they assaulted me. My coworker did something to piss them off, Jonathan. And so um, the woman, he asked who was it, and she's just like, it was him, pointing at me. And while Jonathan was doing that, I was like, dude, stop it, bro. I was like, stop it. The woman's not mentally there. Stop it. Because he was trying to start a fight with her, or she was trying to start a fight with him. And so when they asked what happened, the whole complaint went on me, and he just lied. He was like, yeah, he fought and blah, 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 blah. And I was telling him to stop it. I'm like, oh my God. And so then the whole situation went bad. So the cops came by and said, look, because he's a former sheriff and he's still considered a cop, we're going to have to take his word for it that you broke into his hangar and you did this and did that. I was like, take me away then. And so what happened was my boss, I got in trouble with my boss because they targeted me. Jonathan Shirley lied, all this stuff. And I look at this, I think, wow, all because this woman got in an accident and is now a completely different person. This man is this unhappy where he's going to target people and be angry for the rest of his life. You don't know if that might happen to you. You don't know what could happen to you in a marriage. And that's another reason why, whenever I look at that, whenever I think about relationships or and everything, I think about that woman and how incredibly hostile and nasty she was. Um, and that's very similar to what happened to me. Only my wife was that was her ex-wife. That was her personality, and she was love bombing me and gaslighting me. But that's who she was from the beginning. Um, but yeah, I don't recommend it. What I recommend for everyone, especially women, learn to be independent. Actually independent, not on aid, not having to take aid from other people or government. Learn to actually be independent and be your own person and be comfortable with yourself. And if you get married, just like a man, get that prenup and have your stuff together. Always have separate accounts. With my ex-wife and I had the main account that I put all my money in, and her and I shared that. And then I kept telling her for years she had to get a job. Then she had her own account with her own money in it. So she had access to two accounts. That was my money and her money. But I recommend now, after what happened with her, you should have a shared account for your bills and everything, and both of you should have your separate accounts because marriage is not two people being one anymore. It's not been viewed that way in a long time. Marriage is two people being completely separate people. You can't even correct each other anymore. You tell your partner that they're gaining weight, they need to lose weight and take care of themselves. That's not seen as loving and passion or anymore. That's one person insulting another person. And that person in that relationship, in that marriage, will be offended and smear their partner out to everyone else, saying, "Just because I'm obese, they told me I need to get healthy. Well, you should do whatever you want." I mean, it's bad. Marriage is not about love or a relationship or anything anymore. It's just symbolic now, saying, "I trust you enough not to screw me over, and I'm putting everything at risk to marry you to show you that trust." And I don't recommend it. I understand religion and how, oh, because my religion says that our God wants it to be this way, despite all of these things in reality, but I'm going to do that because religion. I understand that. I really do. But I also understand that it's important to be married, actually just married as far as religious wise, but not legally, and not signing a contract with the government, putting yourself at risk. I've never seen anything in the Bible where it says that marriage is the contract with the government in order to put you at this risk. It's you two and the eyes of God. I just actually heard an attorney say this too. Have your marriage, do everything, wear the ring, all that stuff. Go ahead. Just don't actually file it with the courthouse. But be married, and be married under God with that religion. But make sure that you don't get rid of your protections and sabotage yourself by illegally becoming married, because it's just a bunch of problems, and I completely agree with that. I mean, me being from LA, it's men who get the worst of everything. Men who are abused in these relationships, men that are well taken advantage of. I mean, men are really in danger in places like LA and New York. Um, Out here in the Midwest, it's women who are completely mistreated in society, completely. When it comes to education, it's poor for them. When it comes to job opportunities, the way women are treated and talked about here, it's just the way women are treated. Oh my God, I'm not going to get into it. The mistreatment of women in the Midwest is something I did not know could exist in the United States. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I mean, my whole thing is protect yourself. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you should put either of yourselves at risk or sabotage yourselves, you know, and just learn to do things properly and love each other properly and protect each other and yourselves properly. There's nothing wrong with doing that.